We rejected cuts that would have devastated NASA science by 47% and would have terminated 55 operating and planned missions. And instead, we provide $7.3 billion.
Since the dawn of civilization, humanity has looked up at the stars and dreamed. We dreamed of touching the moon, walking among its craters, and building a frontier outpost for mankind. For more than 50 years, that dream was nothing more than a black and white memory from the Apollo era. But in recent years, that dream has come alive again under a new name, the Artemis Program. An ambitious global effort, led by the United States, to bring humans, including the first woman, back to the moon. Not just to plant a flag, but to stay. It is a symbol of leadership, innovation, and international collaboration. This morning, that dream died. In an unprecedented move in the history of space exploration, NASA's two biggest international partners, the European Space Agency and the Japan Aerospace Exploration Agency, have released a joint statement that has shaken the world. They are officially suspending, indefinitely, all participation and funding for the Artemis program. The reason? It's not technical problems or budget concerns. The reason is a trade war ignited by the White House. This is the story of how a tariff dispute on Earth has shattered our dreams on the moon. This development is critical and will have extraordinary long-term consequences. To make sure you don't miss our in-depth analysis of this unfolding crisis, we'd greatly appreciate it if you take a moment to hit like, subscribe, and turn on your notifications so you won't miss our latest videos and updates on this story.
Oh, is this ever deep, Charlie? Okay, I'm out. Almost. Well, don't come out until you see what we just passed over. It was a big rock, I'll tell you. No, it was a big...
Now, let's dive into the most alarming question. How can a trade conflict bring down the most ambitious space program in the world? And what does it mean for America's future among the stars? To understand the scale of this disaster, we must recognize that Artemis is not a solo American project. It is a masterpiece of international collaboration. Let's take a closer look at what NASA just lost. The European Space Agency is fully responsible for one of the most critical components of the Orion capsule, the European Service Module. Think of it as the astronaut's life support package. The ESM provides electrical power through solar panels, supplies water and oxygen, and houses the main engine that propels Orion in and out of lunar orbit. Without Europe's ESM, Orion is just a powerless tin can. Meanwhile, Japan's space agency has been in the final stages of developing vital components for the Lunar Gateway, a small space station that will orbit the moon and serve as a staging point for astronauts. JAXA is responsible for the life support systems, logistics modules, and battery systems. They are also a major partner in the development of a pressurized lunar rover. In short, without Europe and Japan, the US has no way to keep its astronauts alive in deep space, nor to build any long-term infrastructure on the moon. This project isn't just delayed, it's crippled.
And rejecting premature terminations of systems like SLS and Orion before commercial replacements are ready. We make critical investments to accelerate our plans to land Americans on the lunar surface before the Chinese.
Now, let's dissect their official statement. A masterpiece of painful diplomacy. They never explicitly used the word tariffs. Instead, they used language that is far deeper and more damaging. They stated that true scientific partnerships require a high level of trust and mutual respect across all domains, including trade. They concluded that the current trade environment, created by unilateral actions, has made such a partnership unsustainable. Pay close attention to their choice of words. Unilateral actions, which, in diplomatic terms, means aggression. This is no longer the language of allies. This is the language used to describe destructive behavior. It is a diplomatic divorce broadcast to the entire world, a severing of ties built over decades of peaceful collaboration since the days of the International Space Station. And as the Western alliance in space crumbles on the other side of the world, someone is smiling and seeing a golden opportunity. His name is China. For years, Beijing has been building its own highly ambitious space program. They have their own space station, Tiangong, and they have their own plans for the moon, in partnership with Russia, called the International Lunar Research Station. Until now, NASA's greatest strength was its ability to build broad international coalitions. But today, that credibility is shattered. Nations around the world that might have wanted to participate in lunar exploration are now faced with a choice. Join a volatile US-led program, run by an unreliable partner, or align with the China-Russia project that offers stability and long-term cooperation. Unintentionally, by starting a trade war on Earth, the White House may have just handed leadership of the 21st century space race to its main geopolitical rival. It's a tragic irony. The damage done today runs deeper than launch delays or budget cuts. This is about the collapse of America's reputation as a reliable leader in science and exploration. Trust, like life in space, is fragile and hard to build, but incredibly easy to destroy. It took decades for the US and its allies to build the partnerships that created the International Space Station, and that partnership has now been destroyed in just a few weeks by a tariff dispute. How long will it take to rebuild that trust? Is it even possible? Now the dream of seeing human footprints return to the moon feels farther away than ever. The night sky we gaze upon remains the same, but America's place in it has suddenly grown smaller and more isolated. This is a sobering reminder that our greatest ambitions among the stars can still be held hostage by our pettiest earthly disputes.
We make critical investments to accelerate our plans to land Americans on the lunar surface before the Chinese, but also in the technologies and capacity to land astronauts on Mars.
This is a moment historians will study for years. The day the race to the moon was halted, not by rocket failure, but by a failure of diplomacy. Do you think ESA and JAXA were right to take such a drastic step? Or should science be kept separate from politics? Don't forget to share your thoughts in the comments. Thank you for watching this critically important analysis. If you value content that gives you the big picture behind the headlines, please show your support by hitting the like button. And don't forget to subscribe and ring the bell so you won't miss our latest updates on this story, one that will shape the years ahead. Stay informed.